Good evening. Welcome to the 5-8, where we discuss each of the week's 5 most fucked up topics for 8 minutes. 5 topics, 8 minutes, 2 hosts, a guest, some singing, a lot of curse words, and as many cocktails as we deem necessary. LB, how are you?
I'm really well. Look what I have here.
Hey, I know that cup. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm having some tea tonight.
that's a Sharon Diamond cup. That's what that is.
Thank you, Sharon Diamond. I got my mug. It's beloved around the house. This is the first time I've been able to have it for myself. Everybody else keeps using this mug.
Oh, that's good.
So
Okay.
it's going about. And you are having a Manhattan in a traditional glass.
Yeah, I find that if I
I
have it
like it.
in this glass that it's a little bit smaller and I drink it more slowly. Since we're having after hours today, I have to keep
Are
my
having
wits
after
about me.
hours.
Have to keep my wits about me.
Yeah, drink it slowly.
He said as he guzzled the
He says as he guzzles it. Well, you
Yeah.
can get all sloppy in the after hours. That's the whole point of it. But
No, that is the point.
yeah,
I
but
have
you got to
yeah,
get there. We got to
we got to
get.
get there. We have a ways to go. We have a great guest who is
You too.
staying up late for us, so we don't want to spend too much time, at the beginning with
Yeah.
our prattle. But so do you have anything up front? Do you have any news, notes, observations from the Northland?
Um, am I supposed to? Is this a setup?
No,
Am I supposed to?
no, I'm just
Oh,
asking.
yeah. Okay, because I've forgotten if I was supposed to have something
No,
ready.
you've got nothing. I'm
I've
just
got
asking how you
nothing. I
are.
mean, we're in between skating seasons,
Okay.
and so I'm a little down about that. Um, what else? Oh, it is beautiful up here. We were just talking about that. So the weather is gorgeous. So I'm preparing for a Memorial Day weekend holiday of a lot of people coming through, and it'll get really busy in Placid. But if you haven't figured it out yet and you do want to come up, I would say to everybody, it's going to be spectacular. Here, just gorgeous, gorgeous weather. What about you? What are you going to do for the weekend?
The weekend, I don't know. I have to rest. This has been a big week for me, LB, because
It
as you know,
has
yeah.
been. You had a big week this week. Let's
I
talk
had
about your week.
Yeah, my book came out and everybody bought it, which I'm very grateful for. And I
Yay.
am not anymore, but I was number 1 in fascism. Number
Yeah,
1.
it's
Too. Yeah,
perfect for you.
it's true. Yeah.
I'm just so
Beating
pleased.
out Jack Posobiec and the Unabomber, I'm pleased to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
It's
Good.
it's good stuff. Um,
Yes.
so I'm happy about that. And what's weird, we're gonna get into the topics here, but
Yeah.
people are talking about flags a lot. I guess maybe 4th of July's coming. It's like Memorial Day's gonna go
Yeah.
outside and have these barbecues. And I made a little thing. It's stupid, but would you like to see? Because
Sure.
there's this appeal to heaven flag, right?
Yes, the
Everyone's seen it
Alito
now.
appeal to heaven flag is what you're referring to, which is the Stop the Steal flag.
It's
It's
the
not.
stop the steal
Yeah.
flag. It's
Yeah.
the appeal to stop the steal. It's like they do the thing where it's like, let's go, Brandon really means fuck Joe Biden, and they think they're being clever. Appeal
Yes,
to
they're
heaven means
artless
stop the steal.
goons.
And
Yes.
it's a white background with a pine tree on it, because Leonard Leo likes pine trees. And I don't know, it reminded me of something. I couldn't figure out what exactly it was that it reminded me of. And then I remembered that it was this.
Yeah.
I think all it needs is a little love. It wasn't a bad trees. It just needed a little love.
It wasn't a bad riot. You just needed to
A
let
little
them
love.
overthrow the government and need
Yeah.
a little love.
Yeah.
Oh, poor peanuts. I almost don't like that you've done this to them, but it is representative of the cartoonish nature. Although there's plenty of art in Charlie Brown, there's zero art in the MAGA right. So I don't know what to say.
Literally zero, like less than zero. Like
Less than zero.
it's just a nothing. It's just a nothing. So maybe this is a good segue into
Oh,
our first topic, which
okay.
is flags of the unified Reich.
Oh,
Wow, that's a heavy one. We're gonna start with a heavy one.
we're starting with a heavy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think everybody's up to date on the flag that first we had the upside down flag that was being flown by Alito. We talked about that last week. In between the January 6th insurrection and before Joe Biden's inauguration, that Alito was flying the flag of America in distress at one of his properties. I don't know how many properties this guy has. So anyway,
Got a lot of properties.
Another property, some other property he's got on his federal salary. He was flying this Stop the Steal flag, which is the insurrection flag, right? And it's, I mean, you know more about it. What do you have anything you want to say about the meaning of it?
You know, the first thing is, I think that for all the stuff that's happening right now, right? We have a guy, Trump is there's going to be probably a decision this week, is what I'm hearing, about the first of his 4 criminal trials. And he's basically, you know, we call this unified Reich because those are the term from his own campaign Truth Social thing, where he's
this
actively
is a whole
cultivating Nazi shit, right? He's actively cultivating this. And we're worried about a fucking flag. It seems kind of ridiculous on one level. Like, you know, we live in a country where the Confederate flag, which was flown by slave-owning insurrectionists who caused mass death in this country and institutionalized racism for an extra 100 years after the Civil War, and are just awful people. Everyone just flew that shit around, put it on their truck, and nobody really cared much. So on one level, I don't care that somebody has Alito has a pine tree flag, or his wife does. We're going to talk about her too. This is a surprise for you. I did some research.
Oh God, no! Don't surprise me with these. No, it's wives.
It's fun.
It's literally Halloween time.
Yeah, I know.
Freaks me out. They really terrify me.
The purpose of the flag.
I'm trying to find something on my Twitter that's relevant to this. So this is why I'm looking down. Go ahead. Yes.
The thing about the flag isn't the flag. The thing is that they're trolling us. They want everybody to freak out. That's what they want. And you have said to me privately, and perhaps even on this show, that Alito strikes you as very trolly, of a very specific kind, meme lordish, even. So, what did you mean by that?
Okay, well, so I started, I didn't pay much attention to this guy. I gotta be honest. Like, who cared about him? I just didn't before. And Dobbs really focused me. That he wrote that, and I knew he was horrible, but there's so many horrible ones. It was all horrible. And then he had a speech that he gave, and it was like a comedy act, right? It was very strange. And I started picking up some vibes from that, and just some semantics that he was throwing out and using, and his timing and his demeanor. And I'm like, oh my God, he's like those guys in 4chan that I used to research and study when I was working with the extremist reporters and trying to track what the Nazis were up to, right? Way back in the day. And then I started looking at him more and paying attention more. So either he's got, and I'm talking about old school, right? People who have been following me for a long time know that I went deep into the old school anonymous stuff when it started to get infiltrated by Russian intelligence services. This is all very well documented. And all of a sudden we were getting Nazi symbols and all this weird stuff happening in this space that was basically just, anonymous hacktivists and kids that it wasn't quite, the video games hadn't quite exploded the way that they are now in terms of, and been so sophisticated. So they were just in there and with their antisocial personality disorders, fucking around with each other, right? Anonymously. And it's not that it was an innocent place. There was certainly a lot of vile things happening on B-Board. And this is about the mid 2000s, everybody. But it definitely took a dark turn at a certain point in time. And then there was a lot of research and a lot of reporting and a lot of folks looking at that, realizing and tracking some of the IP addresses back to Russia, right? It was like, okay, we're getting infiltrated here in this space. And these folks didn't really care, but this darkness took over. Also at that time, just so everybody knows, it was this sort of, they became 8chan kind of got born. And anything went. I know folks here will know all this, and I'm really summarizing this with big brush strokes. And I'll get these people who have to be so specific coming at me if they watch this, but just big picture, into that, or through those channels, the sort of the worst of the internet. So when you hear the dark net, right? The dark web, we're talking about that, right? So you've got your 3 categories, right? Anyway. So anyway, I'm listening to flash forward years later. I'm looking at Alito, listening to all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. He reminds me of that time and that darkness and those semantics and that weirdness. It was just, he just does. And he trolls. So and he's got stuff that he says that's very in line. So either he's got, and then the other thing that started happening was we have Alex Aronson on our show, right? This is more recent.
Yep.
And anytime Alex, who was Sheldon Whitehouse's former
chief
counsel, and investigating the justices and the backgrounds of, especially of Kavanaugh, and then he, all this other stuff, the corruption around Clarence Thomas, all this stuff, right? So he's obscure, though. We know Alex, but he's not. It's not like he's on, CNN. You have to really know who he is. You have to really be in there in the Judiciary Committee for the Senate and what it used to be, and kind of understand Alex's work. So it's not like Twitter just knows him. And so anytime he posts anything on X or Twitter or whatever about Alito, it's a swarm of trolls, and it's just insane. And I looked at him. I don't think these aren't bots. This is like he's got someone's attention, and there's a DM group, clearly a DM group, and then that DM group, they put an alert. Okay, watch this guy. He's saying stuff about Alito again. Now, Alex posts about all the justices, but only when he goes near Alito. Only when he mentions Alito, boom, out come the trolls and the meme lords. They're just on him. So what the fuck, Sam Alito? What were you doing? Do you have a staffer that maybe is an old 4chan, 8chan, and he's like runs your social media, or what? Do you have someone like, why would you have that? Or is it you? Were you in there? You don't strike me as a tech guy. I'm just going to talk right to him. You don't strike me as Mr. sort of hacktivist. You just don't strike me as that. But you do kind of strike me as someone that might have been looking for some pretty dark content and found your way in to the chance. I could be completely wrong about this. I'm not accusing you. I'm really not. I'm asking, where did you get this skill set? Where's it from?
And why?
And why?
Interesting.
What's going on with Sam Alito?
I don't know. 1chan, 4chan, 8chan, 1488chan.
1488chan. Are we going to find now? I forgot, of course, to set the timer. So we can pivot to the next thing. But are we going to find that, like, I don't know, around 2015, 2016, you were at some another weird property that we know nothing about. Maybe a camp you took over. I don't know. Like Scalia, maybe one of those places. Were you flying the 4chan flag? Were you flying the little clover? What has Sam Alito been doing on his computer? What has he been doing on that computer? I kind of want to know.
It would be interesting. It would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was he on Judge Kaczynski's mailing list of the dirty jokes?
I looked up Kaczynski. Now, Kaczynski, that scandal. So Alito was given, what was it, 2005, 2006? He becomes a justice.
Yeah, right around the same time.
Right around that timing. And Kaczynski, I think that story broke around 2007 and then followed up on 2008. But that doesn't mean it hadn't been going on for a while. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that these guys are like whatever in some lofty halls of judiciary academia at the blah blah blah, and don't know really how, and can't turn on a light switch, right? Because they're so, they're like what? I don't know, monks or something is what people think about them. But
monks are into weird shit too. Not that he's into weird shit. Just saying.
So sorry to. I'm not trying to weave conspiracy.
No, but just asking.
It's like when we're just asking questions.
It's like when that what was that Roy Moore guy suddenly we found out that he could speak Russian fluently.
Yeah, all of a sudden he could speak.
That's weird. Russian. Why is he speaking Russian fluently? So so I did a little bit of digging, not even a lot of digging. I just went back and read shit about 2005, 2006, which is when he was nominated, and then when the confirmation hearings happened. Okay, and first of all, something you might not have known. In 2004, when he was back on the circuit, he ruled in a case Doe versus Groody, Groody, that it was okay for police. It was constitutionally cool that the cops strip searched a mother and her 10-year-old daughter. Sam Alito was like, yeah, that's cool. So you know what they called him after that?
What?
Strip search Sammy. There's a hashtag. Strip search Sammy. Hashtag strip search Sammy. This is in USA Today, by the way, that I found that. It's not like some obscure thing. Wow. Okay. The other thing, and this is important, and we can cut the other thing shorter to get to this. I went back and looked at the events of the confirmation, and his wife is there, Martha Baumgart, whatever her name is. She's from Kentucky. She's back there in her prim and proper things. You know, oh, her husband is this. And it's a contentious confirmation hearing for the time because everybody knows that he's a fucking zealot who doesn't want the abortion thing to happen. Everyone knows this. They're trying to get him to admit it. It also comes out he's a member of this Princeton alumni group that's like doesn't want minorities or women to go to Princeton. But he says, I don't know what that is. I just wrote that on my resume. I didn't have anything
doesn't want minorities or women to go to prison?
Princeton.
Oh, okay.
He went to Princeton undergrad, right? Which is near where he grew up in Trenton, New Jersey. That's near the closest Ivy to where he grew up, right? So this is all happening. There's like this kind of thing going on there where Democrats are starting to ask him difficult questions. Okay, see if this sounds familiar to you. They're starting to ask him difficult questions. He's starting to get all pissed off, visibly.
Yeah.
Then
his grievances, he's getting narcissistically abused. Yeah.
Wait for it. A senator comes and just fucking ups the ante by asking him a question. The question that he asks is, are you a bigot? This is a Republican who asks this. And Alito says no. And this senator says, of course you're not a bigot. And then Martha Alito gets up and runs out crying out of the fucking room. Performatively, okay? You want to guess who it was who asked him?
Was it Lindsay?
Yes! You knew! It's almost like when the Kavanaugh thing happened, they already fucking did this once before.
Yeah.
So this woman's horrible. Sam Alito's horrible. I don't give a fuck which one of them flew the goddamn flag. They're both awful. And the other thing that I found, and this is the last point, and then we'll move on. Sam Alito made a point because he's Italian American and he didn't like the mob, the way that the mob created negative stereotypes of Italians. So he liked to go after the mob. And I want to say that he's done just as much damage, if not more, to the people of this country. And as an Italian American, I want to say to Sam Alito, Bafangul, you motherfucker. Okay. Moving on.
I used to know an Italian curse. I'm going to ask my friend what it is. The next time I'll curse him.
Okay.
Through the interwebs that he appears to love so dearly.
Yeah.
Late at night cursing. Mm-hmm. All right, you're skipping a little bit on me. How's my feed?
Your feed's fine. I think. Okay. Is mine not good? I don't know. People will tell us if it's not.
You're a little frozen, but it could be me because I was having a lot of technical difficulty before we came on air. All right, let me set this timer on this next block. Let's go. Okay. We got to get to our guest.
No, we're doing fast. Do it 5 minutes. We don't need more than 5 minutes on this. This is
okay.
Easy. Okay. Ready?
Go.
Okay, it's a weird week for people named Sam A. period or Sam A.L. period because there's Sam Alito and then there's Sam Altman, who's this open AI guy who's like, into all the stuff, right? And this weird thing happened where I guess he saw the movie Her, which is the movie where Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with his cell phone or the woman coming out of the cell phone. And he decides, Sam Altman does, that he wants his cell phone to have the same voice. And the voice is that of Scarlett Johansson. So there's a meeting that's had where he brings Scarlett Johansson in and says, hey, we want you to do this thing, blah, blah, blah. And she thinks about it and she's like, yeah, no, I think no is the answer. So Sam Altman doesn't like this answer. So he goes and creates the thing anyway, basically stealing her voice, allegedly. And is like, oh no, it's a different actress that sounds like her. You know, it's this anonymous actress, the first actor ever who didn't want to claim credit for a performance that was effective, right? And so Scarlett is now, I guess, in the process of maybe suing him or cease and desist, whatever
I hope
it is.
she does, yeah.
And which good on her. So, but it gets me thinking about all this AI stuff, and we've already crossed the fucking line with this. I don't know. There's Gen X people or Gen Z people, excuse me, in my life who are just enthralled. Not my kids, but who are enthralled with this and think that it can do all the things. Like, well, just AI will just do. It'll just do that. It'll just do that. You know, AI will. You know, and I feel like we've talked about this on the show before that. You know, every science fiction writer of all time is like, don't let the computers get super intelligent because bad shit will happen. And we've just blown right through that to the point where now the AI is going to create the science fiction stories and probably will tell us that AI is just fine. I don't know. I just, you know, the other thing this week is that Google has revamped the search, and there's like a Google AI search where they're trying to, and it doesn't know that the Onion, it doesn't know what satire is.
It doesn't. It doesn't know when it's being trolled.
It doesn't know when it's being trolled, right? So if you put in like, you know, do plants crave Brawno? It'll say, as if Idiocracy is completely real, yes, Brawno is good for plants. It's what plants crave, you know, and maybe it'll figure this out. But it's like, this AI is really, really like it's so you were an early tech person in the Gen X.
Yeah, I was.
You know, late 90s. You know, that level of stuff when where the technology was at that time was, you know, far away from what we can do now. And this AI, I feel like it's right at the cusp of what it will be, but it's also too far. You know, what do you think about all this? Do you have any thoughts on this?
I have a lot of thoughts on this. But back to let's just stick on the Altman thing, right?
Yeah.
My one big thought is I have a really hard time believing in the myth anymore. And I think not to, you know, it would be anybody stepping in and saying, I have the maturity of a 10-year-old and yet created solely only myself. I promise I didn't get any help and there were no strange things and I'm not a puppet. This earth-shattering, you know, transformative, change the world tech. It's always there's always a fraudulent thing in there. So I haven't looked at this one in particular. I'm at a place where when it comes to these, here's the most awkward dude we could find. Here's a goober. Today's goober. We're going to call him a genius out of Silicon Valley. And all, you know, he just did something that's going to change the world. Like like a movie. Like I just think it's all horseshit. So that's to begin with. So now I'm suspicious of whatever it is they're bringing forward because I want to know, where the hell did you get that? I really don't believe you did it. So who gave it to you? What is their intention? Where's the money coming from? What the hell? How come you're a gajillionaire all of a sudden out of nowhere? Like all of this stuff, right? The whole thing to me is just rotten to the core. So no good can come from this. That's my core thing without getting into details of what I think might work or won't work. And oh my God, and what's going to happen to art and what's going to happen to humanity. It's just in the underpinnings of it all because it's coming out of Silicon Valley and because that's just a money laundering, corrupt, disgusting, drug-addled place of everybody thinking they can be Steve Jobs and they will never be Steve Jobs because that was the dude where there was just one dude. That was the one fucking dude. So and he wasn't a goober. He was kind of sexy. It's like, you don't have that. You're never going to have that, Sam Altman.
No.
You're never going to have it. I'm sorry to tell you, you're a goober. So that's where I'm at with all that. Then the other thing I think about it is just completely all that aside. someone said to me not long ago that, it's going to be like a utility. It's just going to be like electricity. It's just going to be sort of everywhere and ingrained in all aspects of our lives, all aspects of business, all that. You're not really going to, it's not going to be this evil overarching thing, but it is a moralist thing that's going to be given great power. We're going to hand our power over to it. So what's going to happen from that, I don't know, but think of it more like electricity than anything else.
Okay. AI is good for certain things, though, I have to say.
What's it good for, Greg?
I am the master of AI. My deepfakes put the heart in my hard drive. And I'm so proud of my success. I'm Sam Altman. I'm not scared of lawyers. But in the evening I'm Joaquin Phoenix, sad and all alone, falling hard for the woman on his cell phone. I sympathize. You see, I'm not like normal guys. I'm an incel weirdo, crazier than Manson. Why can't my phone sound more like Johansson? Make it so. I don't give a shit if she says no, but I'll never have ScarJo. ScarJo. She won't give me the time of day. She is the girl I want the most. Why must she be with Colin Jost? Like the Little Mermaid. Her voice is what I'm gonna steal. And so what? For me it's easier if she's not real. Wow. Jeez. Ooh. Boy, it rarely said, we can actually put it on YouTube. 5'8" destroys Sam Altman.
Yeah, we need that. We need
destroys. We destroy Sam Altman. Good job, Chunk.
Good job, Chunk.
It's always so great to do these things and give them to Chunk, and then this
genius comes like art comes back. Yeah, It's exciting. All right, I'm having my tea because.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to flip my page over. Okay, it's time for our guest. We've kept him waiting long enough. He is he's an actor, he's a writer, he's a comedian, he's a satirist. He's also a Briton who is up very, very late. He'll be on the Edinburgh Fringe in 2024 doing a show called Will of the People. Will Sebag-Montefiore. Welcome to the 5A.
What on earth was that? I loved it.
That's what we do here. That's how we do it.
But that took a lot of actual human work, right? That wasn't AI.
No, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how
we don't know how he does it. He does it literally in an afternoon. Here you go.
Yeah. But that was your voice, Greg, no?
Yeah. I did the music, and it's a karaoke.
Does that in 5 minutes too.
So this I think sometimes happens when we talk about AI trying to steal our jobs. It's like, I did all this work and I used AI to do it. And it's like, you used the AI. Like, you made the thing. It's great. We're still making the things. I sort of think it went like this. It was like no AI, and then it was like boom, loads of it, and then it's plateaued. I think we're going to be fine, and I say that confidently with no knowledge.
Okay, good.
That's your MO. Your MO is confidently with no knowledge, and that's why we wanted to have you on. So but first of all, talk about your, because you have these videos that you do, these video clips that are on the Twitter, and they're
undeniable,
on the TikTok and wherever else they are, and they're very funny. You make these.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're funny. You're funny.
I agree. I do agree. To be fair, I do agree.
Every time they pop up in my feed, I'm like, oh, here's Will's at it again, and they're you're often pretending to be a politician without attempting at all to look like the politician that you're pretending to be, which is part of the humor, I think. And fortunately for you, in Britain, there's a lot of politicians to make fun of lately. You guys have been on a good run of Yeah,
of terrible, terrible politicians. Yeah, I don't know how fortunate it is for the country. It's great for me, but I don't know how good it is for people.
We're the Les Moonves of 2024. Yeah, like Donald Trump is terrible for the country, but great for business. What is happening there? Can we jump into that? Can we jump in?
Oh man, yeah. So
Bill, we don't understand what's happening. All this stuff is happening.
An election has been called for.
Yeah, it absolutely has. And I like, because Greg sent me a couple of things of like, think about this in advance, and I was like, yeah, I will, but I won't give you any answers. Which was like, why has it happened now? And the answer, I think, across the board is like, we don't seem to know. And I think the best guess is that Rishi Sunak wants to come and work in Silicon Valley. Like, I think he's ready for a tech job. Like, I don't know what the other answer is.
Okay.
Well, isn't his wife like super loaded and into that world? Isn't? Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a multimillionaire through marriage mostly. I think he used to work at Goldman Sachs and allegedly was referred to as the intern there. So somebody just posted saying he's holding the mic like a cricket commentator. And listen, I'm an English person. There's no other way of me holding the mic. That like any way I hold a mic, I'll look like I'm commentating on cricket.
So how does this guy like? You've had now a succession of prime ministers. Stop if I've missed one. Let me know. Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, who killed the Queen, and now
the cabbage. Was she the cabbage head?
She was the cabbage head.
Steph, she was a lettuce, and the fact you called her a cabbage is deeply offensive to my people.
I apologize. Lettuce.
A cabbage? No, cabbage has far longer a shelf life than an iceberg lettuce does.
Good for you too.
Yeah,
so I don't think.
And Liz Truss was very bad. Very bad for us.
Very bad.
Yeah, she crashed the whole economy. I think briefly crashed the world's economy. So she did a great job in 43 days. 44?
Is she AI? Is she an AI?
Maybe.
No. A random number generation would never do such a bad job. I think if an algorithm was in charge of the economy, they would have been like, well, it's not a great system, but we'll keep it going. Whereas Liz was like, I'll have a go, you know?
Yeah.
So the way that let's start here. Just, we're watching this. Many of the people watching are Americans. There's plenty of people who are not, but we don't understand. In the United States, what happens is every 4 years we have an election and someone wins usually.
And that's it.
And
and in between we have one other election in between. Yeah. That's sort of a big national thing.
And there's nothing complicated about it. Whoever wins the most votes wins the election, unless it goes to the Electoral College, and then they don't. But apart from that, every 4 years. But every time I talk to someone from Britain and say, when are the elections happening? No one seems to know or be able to tell me. And why is he doing the election now? And can't he just declare no elections ever? Because that's what Trump would do.
Yeah, I don't think he can. I think I don't know enough about politics, despite being a satirist. But I think we have a similar system in that you're because Trump didn't win the popular vote when he was elected, right?
No.
That's a similar thing that happens here, but it's a different way of doing it. I think we're sort of trying to copy your populism. It's great fun. We're trying to be as cool as Americans. I think English people are always trying to be as cool as Americans, and we don't like admitting that. We don't like telling people that we're trying to be cool and have nice teeth.
Yeah, you had to beat us to the biggest self-inflicted wound that a country can commit to itself.
Yeah.
You knew that Trump was coming. Is like, oh, we got to do Brexit. We got to leave the European Union. So you are always doing. Your size,
Yeah, we're sort of like a USA tribute band. We're not quite as good, but you sort of go I guess it's kind of similar.
Yeah, I think what Greg was getting at was the schedule of what's so confusing to us. Is that you can just let's have an election. It's it's weird.
And I think that sometimes I don't actually know the answer to this. So you could if you're in the chat, just Google it. But because what happened with Liz Truss and with Rishi Sunak is that the Conservative leadership changed based on an election within the Conservative Party. So actually, the people of the country didn't have a say in who was taking over the leadership. It was the Conservative Party who did. And I don't understand why that's the case. I don't understand why the Conservatives have been in for 14 years. I don't necessarily think it's going to get any better, but it'll get different, or it'll get slightly different. It'll be like Coke and Pepsi.
Oh.
Well, that's optimistic. So, okay, so the guy that's going to win now, the guy is. I think. Wait, I'm hearing the feedback from the room. You can hold the microphone further away from your.
Yeah, I started holding it far away. The guest voice is twice as loud as you. Look, I'm so sorry. I'm a trained actor, so I project. Like, I'm trying to project across a pond. All right, Captain Turp. Sorry, someone has just said in the chat, I need to turn my volume down by 10 to 12 dB. Are you going to fucking notice if it's 9? What are you talking about? We'll turn it down by 9 and see if that person knows. Right, I'm far away from the mic, guys. It's right over here. Look at this. It's so far away.
Now it does look like a little guy, the Beefeater hat kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
funny.
cute.
Oh man.
So now I forget what I was going to say though. Keir Starmer, because he's going to win. Is he? First of all, is there a Labour and a Liberal Party? Or are there like two different parties? Like, or I get them mixed up. And is there a difference? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. So we have
FPRC.
It's very bipartisan. It's we have the Labour Party, which are centre left, and the Conservative Party, who are centre right, and they're the two who are sort of gonna. That's like Republicans and Democrats, right? And we also have the Liberal Democrats, the Green Party, and a couple of we have the Reform Party, who are sort of our like classic racists. Lovely, they're doing a great job keeping up racism in the country.
So those are like the Nazis. Okay, yeah, we have Nazis.
Well, I think. Do you know what? They don't dress as well, but yeah, in terms of their policies, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know there was a bar underneath.
Oh, there's a bar.
The Charlottesville dress. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
I think he's talking about German Nazis. So Keir Starmer. I mean, that sounds like a neo-Nazi newsletter title. Did you get the definition of the Keir Starmer? So who is this guy? What do we know about him?
He was a lawyer. And I think he's been playing a game of like trying to. A lot of people have become disenfranchised with the Conservatives for various reasons, and I think he's trying to appeal to as wide a group as possible by saying as little as possible. So, he's basically not. He's not them. It is like the best thing one could say about him. I think. Like,
you should. The campaign should hire you. I think.
Yeah,
your messaging is.
I'm not them. Yeah. Also, I will say, I know so little. I could any sort of message in chat could make me be like, oh, I guess I do need to turn it down by 11 decibels. I don't know what I'm talking about. So this is my opinion and my sort of understanding of it, but it's not gospel.
That's what we want. We want your opinion.
That's right.
If we wanted somebody who works in Parliament, we would have had somebody who works in Parliament on, but they won't stay up this late. So
Here we are. Yeah.
You do interact, right? You are out there. You're interacting. You're up with people. So how is Britain feeling about it? Like, what's your vibe about? What are you taking on about for your fellow countrymen? How are they feeling about a change in leadership? How do they feel about the old leadership, and where do you think they're focused for this next guy?
I think it's a difficult question to answer because I live in a very liberal bubble in London, and but I don't know if you saw Rishi Sunak talking, doing his speech announcing the general election. Did you guys see it at all?
No, I didn't see it.
So It's currently all anyone in the UK can talk about because Rishi came out in the middle of the rain. It was raining so much, and he came out, and everyone was like, "Does this multimillionaire not have an umbrella?" And like, he got so wet, like he got so wet, and like, it's a real testament to British people that we cannot care about years and years and years of like demonizing immigrants and demonizing trans people. But as soon as a prime minister gets wet in the rain, like the weather will be like, oh, we got to talk about this. Everyone's just been talking about how wet he got announcing the general election. That's the main mood in the country, I think, right now, is people being like, God, he should have brought an umbrella. Yeah, he should have done.
And that was one of the videos that you made that was very funny, where you were, you had water pouring on you, and you were talking about how we have to get rid of roofs because roofs are woke, and
roofs are very woke. Yeah, we should deal with the elements ourselves. Yeah. We shouldn't have something else protecting us, like, I don't know, the state. No.
That's very libertarian. Yourself. Yeah, that's very.
Well, yeah, I'm a big libertarian. I think volume is whatever you want it to be. That's why I've been so loud this whole time. My volume is the volume that I found, and if you don't like it, move somewhere else. Truth is, I feel deeply sorry for being too loud. I don't know. I've turned the gain down so much. Like, I can't. I have short arms. I can't move the microphone further away. Like, it's a real problem. I'm not sure if this is what the sound is coming into, or if it's this, like over here.
This is just a problem. Yeah, I'm talking into my first bees. I don't think
Terrible stuff.
See, you've already. I told Stephanie that you were funny, and I have been proven right. So it's good. Yeah. Okay, so what else?
Okay, well, have we learned anything? I don't know.
No, we learned nothing, which is actually
we've had a nice time.
Yeah. It's so refreshing. Yeah, I love this. I was telling you before you came on air that I was, we were talking about the whole, you guys have to keep up with us, right? Our horribleness. Let's just, it's just a competition. Plus, the Olympics are in Paris, and so everybody's a little off kilter, I think, of like, oh, the French get to have this now. So now we're going to be competing with them again. They're going to put us to shame. But I was in London right after Brexit. I just happened to be there, and not happened. We were having a family holiday, so it was like, the timing. And I wasn't really tuned into politics believe it or not, at that point in time. I was sort of like aware of this thing of like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? I wasn't deep into it until Trump got elected. And then I was just like, oh my God, I got to figure out the world. This is crazy. It's all coming apart. But I remember people openly vomiting in the streets. Like, you talk to people, like they're talking about it and it's like, oh, getting sick, and just like, oh, it was just, you guys were in this state of shock all throughout London. I think the rest of the country and other areas of the country, not the entire rest of it, but in other areas that were more conservative, they were like, yeah, they were all into it. But Londoners seem to have just gotten their legs kicked out from underneath them in the most shocking way, So it was very weird. It was very odd. And then my husband had a massive heart attack, and so we dealt with your National Health Service, who saved his life, right? So it was a wild trip.
Whoa! What a twist at the end!
I know, a twist at the end. Surprise! Near-death experience.
It was sad already, and then it was like
it was sad already, and then it took that. But that, I got to tell you, I was so taken with that, with your city, because you just wrapped your arms around. It was my daughter and I, and with it was just, we're a small little family. And she was young, and he's, in the hospital, and everybody took care of us. I even had cab drivers just, I think they just saw the shock in my face or whatever. They're like, you don't need to pay me. It's fine. Just go to your team.
Wow.
Like, I literally, the generosity and the spirit of that city, and that National Health Service, the doctor saved my husband's life, like in a big way. And everyone getting us to the hospital and making it all happen. So you have a special place there. And I hate to see it constantly getting rocked. And
well, first question. I've just changed my microphone to this one. I was.
Oh, see there. I gave you time to do that. Yeah,
that's much better. That's much better. By the way, that's on me. We should have.
No, it's not. No, Greg. That's very generous of you.
It is because we should have figured this out before.
I absolutely jumped on someone in the chat because I was like 10 decibels, and I was like, yeah. It was absolutely 10 decibels. Yeah, he was right. I think
better. Look at this.
I think London's an amazing place. Like it's a very diverse place. It's full of loads of people, and like it's a big city. It's a dense population. There are problems, but like I love it. I think it's amazing. Yeah. And I think Brexit was a really sad moment because I think most people were lied to, basically. I think it became a protest vote. It became like a culture war protest vote of like, do you think things are okay or do you think they're not okay? And like the whole campaign was built on lies. It's like found to have been unlawful. Like since. And people who voted for it, who thought they were getting like a break from, like, it's the same thing as following Trump, of being like, I'm voting for something different. I don't want this political nonsense. And actually it's something that I think is a feeling that could unite us, but instead has been like galvanized to divide us. And that goes the same thing. And it's really sad. And now a lot of people are like, oh, wait, this is what we meant. I didn't think so. Because it was £350 million a week for the NHS. That's what we were promised. Of course people are going to vote for that. Of course they are. But it was bullshit. It's bleak.
It's
bleak.
Yeah.
And I think it was a cultural issue. And I think that's what Rishi is looking for now with the Rwanda bill and trying to basically send asylum seekers and refugees to a safe third country. Our Supreme Court said Rwanda is not a safe third country, and then we created a bill that said actually it is, and the Supreme Court were like, "Oh, very clever, actually, didn't see that coming."
God.
You need to do it like we do, because our Supreme Court will just say, "Nah, fuck you," and then there's nothing we can do. We just throw up our hands. We're like, I don't know. Sam Alito said it.
Listen, I think only because I do think that your flag is the great flag. Like it's just the composition of it. I love it. I love the Union Jack. Like it design wise, it's a great flag. Mm-hmm. So, but maybe what you need are some more flags, because that seems to be.
We need like a pine tree. I don't know. Yeah.
You just need some more flags.
We actually lost our fucking minds recently. I don't know if I can swear, but I have done.
Yes, you can.
We lost our freaking minds recently about in the Euros. We're playing in the Euros, and Nike obviously redesigned a lot of the flags to put on t-shirts. So they redesigned all the flags, and they made our flag a little bit different, and everybody lost their minds about the desecration of the flag. And it's like, it's just some different colors. Like, I think it's interesting that you look at the Union Jack as like a good. I think the Union Jack has a different relationship, but the George's Cross, the white and the red, which like
the Swiss,
that has a sort of like, for me, I don't look at that and go like, oh yes, great stuff. I'm like,
right,
But the Union Jack is. Because the Union Jack is meant to unite, Scotland, England, like, fine. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting what flags mean. You guys say it's spangled all the time. I've never heard the word spangled before until I heard you about your banner.
Yeah, it's it's still spangled waves. AF. It's still waves.
We do have the Kardashians over here, so we like spangly, sparkly, bedazzled. It's like it's very American to like have some kitsch, and the spangled is a very kitschy word for very kitschy stuff. So
that's beautiful.
Gotta have a little kitsch.
You're saying the American flag is kitschy, because I sort of agree.
It's kind of boring. I gotta be. If we're talking about this, is this where our conversation is going? It's kind of boring. It is.
Okay, art history major.
It's odd.
I like the asymmetricality.
It's a little odd. You know, there wasn't. I don't know. You know, it was sewn together.
You know what's
And-
weird to me about it? It's like we're going to declare independence from you, Britain, and therefore we're going to take your colors and we're just going to use them.
Sorry,
We're not going to use any other colors, just yours.
do you guys know when Rishi has announced the general election for? What day?
No.
4th of July.
4th of July.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Isn't that insane? The day we famously lost a colony. Like
You famously lost a colony that became the greatest economy on the right. So it's not just any colony. Yeah.
And people have asked,
it is actually any of them doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah.
Who cares?
All right.
Every day is
No,
an
it's-
Independence Day for someone, I suppose.
people are asking in the chat, and by the way, this guy, I keep wanting to call him Maurice Sendak, you know, Rishi Sunak. He's going to lose badly. It's there. The Starmer's party's up 20 points. It's going to be a bloodbath there, figuratively. That seems to be the indication of what's happening. So that's I think what we can expect. Is that what's happening, or am I wrong?
I think that's what seems to be the case. That would be like the safe bet. Would be that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to lose, and Labour will get in. But like, how much that I think he's going to do like a Hail Mary. I'm going to say that without really knowing what it means, but with so I think a Hail Mary is like
it's our football, not your football.
Yeah. At the last minute, you change something, and you're like,
Yeah,
"Whoa,
you
crazy!"
Throw it and hope it works.
Oh, just throw it and hope it works. Yeah,
Just
that
throw
also
it
works.
as far as you can, and maybe somebody will catch it, and you'll score a goal.
Yeah. So I think that's. I just don't know if he wants to be prime minister anymore. I just don't. I genuinely don't know. And like the whole thing of politics in the UK definitely feels like a game of like, oh, can we stay in power? Can I be the big guy? And like I don't know if he's gonna, because a lot of it I think hinges on this sending asylum seekers and refugees to Rwanda.
Oh,
as part of a policy that's cost us millions, hundreds of millions, and we haven't sent anyone there yet. Regardless of the ethics of what you like, it's cost us a lot of money, more than it would just to house these people. But like, I don't know if because now he's said that the flights won't take off until after the election. So I don't know if he's going to be like, vote for me and I'll sort out immigration, which is definitely the issue. It's definitely not wealth inequality. It's definitely immigration. Like, I think he's trying to find a culture war issue to hinge the election on, and is being like, the inflation had just gone down recently, and I think they were like, this is the best we're going to get, so let's call it now. I just don't know.
So this is but when you talk about Rwanda, these are immigrants coming mostly from Europe, or other places, and instead of being like, hey, we have a labor shortage and people, there's food that isn't getting to the supermarkets, maybe we should give the people these jobs. They're like, we're going to send you to Africa instead. Is that
right, I mean,
even
just apply, like giving people the proper channels to apply for asylum, and like this is the thing, like it gets talked about as like mass immigration and stuff, but like there are people who are coming from Afghanistan that we were very recently in Afghanistan. There were people who are working for the UK who have now had to find other routes to get back, like to get to the UK, who had worked and supported the war effort in Afghanistan. And it's just like, I mean, obviously it's very clear where I stand like morally on it, but just in terms of like economics, it doesn't make sense. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. So yeah, they are being
for votes. That's all you have to understand. It works for the worst human beings to gain power. That's all it is can I introduce this issue, right? As a people doing it, or ride this issue, or push this issue, or campaign on this issue. Will it get the votes I need to keep me in power? Or will it get the support, because your system's different? Will it get the support that I need publicly to be able to pass over and show, everybody that's in my party to put me at the top, because this is actually the way people want to go. So, it's just, and there was we have a governor of Illinois named Pritzker, from the Pritzker family. And he had a commencement speech recently where he was like telling everybody, this is how you spot an idiot. Like the idiots, Greg has a saying, the traitors are easy to spot. And he was leaning into this idea of the idiot is easy to spot, because they're the people who are in that primal brain, who are racist. It's just at their core. Like I see other, and I'm going to react to that. And that, because they haven't evolved themselves. They haven't learned. They haven't taken in any information. They haven't developed. There's no maturity there. They're just an idiot, right? That in that primal brain. And so politicians, that's easy to galvanize. You just come up with a horseshit idea, and then you pass it through if you have to pass a little law to say, no, this is real. It is a great country. We're doing something good. So don't feel bad about the thing that we're actually harvesting your hate, right, to make happen. Don't feel bad about your hate. It's fine. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think it's both harvesting, but it's also, I think, sowing.
Oh yeah,
spreading it's being it. Like the reason you feel like life is tough and things haven't gone well for you is not because the system is set against you. It's because of these people who've moved in recently who you already were a bit like, who are they? Like, yeah. I think it's top down as well. And I think that's what's so, shocking to someone as naive as me, of like, we really still just calling, because in the UK at the moment, the sort of culture way of referring to immigration is small boats. Like, we're trying to stop the boats, and it's like literally dehumanizing, and that we're not talking about people, we're talking about small boats coming here. They're small and they're boats. They're not lives on them. And it's like I just can't believe we're falling for it. And the reason a lot of people are falling for it is because life's shit for a lot of people in the UK at the moment. Like, for people like me with double-barreled surnames, we're fine. Like, it's okay, but people are struggling. And when people be like, the people to blame, they're all over there.
Find
it's not
someone to blame.
It's not the multimillionaires in power. No. It's these vulnerable people who are trying to better themselves. It's bad stuff, guys.
So sorry. All right. Well, we want Britain to get itself out of this. Yeah, Greg, you had something?
I have two more questions before we release them. I think these are important questions.
These are important questions.
And LB, you'll be interested in this too, as an art history scholar. Okay, so there's this new portrait of King Charles. It's a flush of pink and then his head, and I have to say, you haven't seen. Oh, I took for the picture of the episode. I took that thing and put Alito's head on where the King's is. Anyway, what are your thoughts on it? Because I'm just going to say up front, I kind of like it. I kind of think it's cool. But I don't. Great. I think I'm one of one here. I think me and the artist maybe, and I don't even know if the artist likes it.
Can't tell you how little I care. Like I
awesome. There you go. You're like me now. Yeah, we're the same here.
A portrait of a king was a bit different. Fantastic. Great stuff. Well done, guys. Wasn't it? Like, so many things are going wrong. And as a painting, it's quite cool. But did we need it? Did we? I don't know. And traditions are great. Stuff's interesting. Red is a nice color. But I don't know if this is the answer you wanted. I don't think it's fair to come onto your YouTube channel and be like, don't care, next question.
No, that was a perfect answer.
It's a perfect answer for Monarchs.
I felt like it was in the news and I had to bring it up.
Okay.
No, totally it was, because we love being like, oh God, there are so many homeless people. So many people are using food banks. There's a lovely painting. There's a painting of a rich person. Oh, look at this painting. It's a new painting. Oh, lovely stuff. Oh, look at that painting. What a nice painting, you know. And it is undeniably nice, like fine. Yeah, nice painting.
Okay, so thank you.
But I don't mean to. That wasn't an attack on you.
No,
Oh my
didn't
God,
I didn't
no.
paint the thing.
Yeah.
I'm scouring my brain for UK related things that I can ask. And I feel like that happened this week. It was like this big deal, it seemed like. So I wanted to get your thoughts. Okay, now we'll end with this. We'll end your segment with this because this is important. Now, we've asked you a lot about what's going on there. What we want to know is what you think about what's going on here in the United States, because it's fucking batshit here. What's your take on it from a safe distance away?
You're having like this really fun game between two really old guys, neither of whom should be in charge of a car, let alone a country. And one of them I'd get in the car with and be like, we're going to crash. And one of them I'd be like, we're going to crash and I'm going to get sexually assaulted. So in that situation, I'd choose the first one, you know? I think, it's a big country. It's very confusing. And I think there's one thing that Trump would have done better. So Rishi Sunak, when he gave his speech announcing the general election, there's a protester called Steve, I forget his surname, but he got a big boombox and played a song incredibly loud, which was Things Can Only Get Better by D-Ream, which was used, it's like, things can only get better. It was used in the 1997 Labour campaign. So it's like very funny that he played it. Rishi Sunak did not acknowledge the song. Everybody, the whole country, maybe the world, could hear that the song was being played, and he just carried on speaking. And Donald Trump would have been like, "That's a bad song. That's terrible. That's a stupid song. I hate that song. That's a bad song." Like, he would have rolled with it. And like, when your prime minister is not doing as good a job as the worst person in your country, we're in trouble. So that's not really answered your question, but it is something I've said.
That's a perfect answer to the question.
That's a perfect answer.
That's a perfect answer. I can't think of anything better than that. So,
we're not even doing populism as well as you. Imagine how embarrassing is that? There's been no insurrection. What's the point?
I mean, you had your insurrection, and it worked. Cromwell was in charge for a while. You know,
it was a while ago.
You beheaded the king. There's a mask of Guy Fawkes that people are still wearing in V for Vendetta movies. You know, this country wasn't even here yet, barely. I mean, you know, it was a thing, right?
Well, you're welcome, actually. Yeah, anything that you guys do.
Yeah,
sort of down to us anyway.
Thank you so much.
I feel like you did the insurrection way before we did, and did it correctly. Although, you know, Guy Fawkes did not blow up the House of Lords, Commons, whatever the hell it was he was trying to blow up.
The House of Lawrence. Did you think it was the House of Lawrence?
House of Lawrence, like Ralph Lawrence, or
Ralph Lauren owns the House of Commons. Yeah.
Oh,
that's good.
No, none of that's true. That's
they would dress better if it were.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
So it's 9:00 here, which means it's very late there.
Wow, it's 2 a.m. Yeah.
So thank you so much. We're we really appreciate you.
I don't know if this is helpful or what you needed, but look, I've had a really nice time. I've talked too loud for too long. I'm sorry about that.
No, it again, my fault. And that part's my fault. And this has been amazing. I think this has been a really fucking shitty week in this country here. So I think everybody appreciated the opportunity to have a few laughs at your country's expense. So that was good for us. And again, everybody check out Will's Twitter page and his TikTok and wherever else he puts his things, because they're very, very funny, as you've seen. And Will Sebag-Montefiore, thanks so much for joining us. It was great to see you.
Thanks for having us, guys. My light just turned off on the timer. Yeah. It's time for me to leave. It was terrifying. I thought I was about to get murdered. Everything was okay.
Oh my God, Jack the Ripper is back. Okay.
You know, there's a place just before I go. There's a place in London that sells chips, which is what we call fries, and it's called Jack the Chipper. That feels problematic. Like that's a real place in London.
I think I'm going to go to London just for that.
Well,
Okay,
Greg, I'll take you there.
all right, we're on. I can't wait. All right, Will Sebag-Montefiore, thanks so much. Go to sleep. It's past your bedtime. Okay.
Good night, guys.
Bye. Oh God!
I told you
God.
he was funny. You know,
He is funny, and I'm
you.
so grateful for the levity.
Yeah, that was my fault about the audio. I should have fucking checked.
Stop saying it's okay. I love that he was too loud, and
I think there was comic things that happened.
It somehow worked. It all fit together. It was great. Now it's part of his brand. Maybe he can just be too loud whenever he comes on, or too soft. He can have a whole audio arc, right, to his his live appearances. What are you going to do? It's live TV, everybody.
I think.
All right.
I think people like, and also he interacted nicely with the chat room, which people don't
do that.
really ever do.
How can you do that as a guest? I can't even do it as a host. It's so hard.
I thought it was cool.
It's so hard to keep track of you guys.
I know.
So wonderful. All right,
we got two more things to talk about.
Two more things. We're gonna breeze through these guys because we do want to get to our after hours. If you haven't subscribed and become a member, you got to be a member to be in our after hours. We make it very affordable. I saw people giving away memberships tonight. Thank you so much for everybody who's donating memberships. It's just $1.99, everybody. Or you can support us with a little bit more and go up a level. Is it $4.99? I don't even know what the levels are, but come subscribe, be a member, hit the like button, do all those things. But as a member, we're going to have extra content for you tonight. I am going to bring out the mask. I know it's not announcement time, so we'll repeat this. Okay. I'm bringing out that mask.
I'm excited to see it.
My Omnilux, because I have not done it all week. I haven't had a chance. So I said, Greg, I got to do this. I don't have time before. So we're going to do it.
People have been asking for it. People have been asking.
All right. You're getting to see me do it. I'm sorry, everybody, but it's a little, I got to do my facial. Okay. All right. Here we go. 8 minutes on the clock. What are we talking about?
Well, we got to bring it down now. Got to bring it down, unfortunately. So, look, this is a theory that I have, and it's something I want to just kind of get out there because I think it's important for people to realize because, what we're doing now, they're 6 months out from the election, and we're trying to formulate arguments for people because everybody knows people that are going to vote for this guy, right? Because they think that he's going to drain the swamp, whatever the fuck, right? They've been poisoned by Fox News. I have people in my life that are going to, who are lovely people otherwise than the fact that they're going to vote for Trump because they think they've just been lied to and they've bought the bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to craft these arguments, and that's what my book is really about. It's about crafting the arguments and helping people, figure out what maybe the arguments will be to penetrate the bubble. So this is dark shit, what they're trying to do to women in this country. And by they, I mean, the Supreme Court people, the Sam Alitos and the Clarence Thomases and that faction of the Supreme Court, Leonard Leo, his whole thing, obviously Trump, and all of these like acolytes that he has lined up via Project 2025 that are going to do horrible, horrible things to the country when they come in, if they come into power. Not when, because they're not going to. But if they do, God help us, they're going to do horrible things. And the primary victims in this is going to be the women of this country. That's just how it is. It's going to be minorities. It's going to be gay people. It's going to be trans people. And it's going to be women. And I've observed now kind of the laws that they're going after and this bullshit that they're trying to enact. And I've isolated what I think kind of the flow of it is. If you take them all together, what they're trying to do. And it's three things. That's why I call it 3 mountains, not the 7 mountains of bullshit. This is the 3 mountains of what they're really about, these men in these groups. Okay. The first thing is pedophilia. Okay. And I don't say this lightly. This is a thing that they seem to want. In Arizona, as we talked about on this show, they passed that, they went back to that law from 1860, whatever the fuck. And what that law did, among other things, was make it legal for this guy to marry, i.e. rape, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. So
yeah, it's at the age for marriage
yeah,
for a girl, for a wife at 10.
you have this Alan Dershowitz going on talking about how age of consent is just a construct. What is it anyway? This sort of thing. They're trying to do away with that. Okay. So that's the first piece. And this is something that we can argue, not all met, whatever, but there's clearly some push there. And the fact that the projection on their side that Hillary Clinton is running a pedophile cabal out of the basement of the Comet Ping Pong. No, she isn't. But why are you fucking people so obsessed with pedophilia? I don't know. So
Well,
that's
also,
the first
it's the worst. We're talking about one of the worst crimes.
Yeah.
And for survivors, for victims and survivors of it, to be hearing it tossed about like Marjorie Taylor Greene in a congressional whatever, and she's committee, and she just tosses it out as like an accusation and throwing it around. It's so that also to me is so it's so cruel.
Yeah.
There's just a cruelty to it that is dark in its own deviancy and sadism. And it's like, where is this coming from and why? So yes, I agree with you.
So that's the first piece.
Yeah.
The second piece is, and again, I say this, I don't want to trigger anybody or upset anybody, but that they want to make rape okay. They want to remember, and you've pointed this out in the moment, Greg Abbott coming in and saying, we're not going to have any more rape in Texas, as if he's going to make it stop. But what he really meant is we're just not going to have it. It's just not going to happen.
It's not going to be a crime.
Men can do whatever the fuck they want.
Decriminalize it.
They're going to decriminalize it. And, all around, you see this push. That party, those people, Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist. We can say that now because it has been, ruled in court. This is a guy who has 3-4 dozen accusations, credible accusations of sexual assault. He's the primary guy. He's the fucking GOP nominee. Nobody ever talks about this. It should say every time his name is mentioned.
About it. They never ask him about it.
Every time it's fucking mentioned. Donald Trump, comma, adjudicated rapist, comma. Every time. Why is it not talked about? Because that's one of the things that they want. Okay? Donald Trump, I say this in my book, Donald Trump has never been as happy. He's never seemed as happy, even when he was laughing with the Russians in the Oval Office, as in that video when he's dancing with Epstein. Right? That's his happy place. That's the leader of the party that's going to take all this stuff. You think Donald Trump he's going to help rape victims? Come on. So you have pedophilia and you have rape, and then you have the third thing, which is eugenics, which is abortion, contraception, all of these things that they want to make criminal and make illegal and make difficult to obtain, because they want, again, this is looking at it from a big picture, taking all of the things that they're going for together, stripping it away of all the religious horse shit. They want everybody that they rape and impregnate to have the baby. That's what it feels
Amy
like.
Coney Barrett,
yeah.
Right? Domestic supply.
Yeah, domestic infant supply.
Yeah.
And that seems to be what they want, because they think that their genes are superior, or what, like Elon Musk has 75 kids or whatever, because he thinks he's so great. And I guess this super genius doesn't know how to use a fucking condom. Roll it on, Elon. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
anyway. So
take me there.
These three things together. And again, this is stuff that they're pushing. These people are pushing these things. They're pushing these laws. They want to do these things. I can't think of any other reason why they want these things other than they are all defective men who know deep down that they cannot find women to love them and have their children normally. And that the only way they're going to
maybe they don't want that, though.
Maybe they don't want that.
I don't know that. But there's a lot of, we're using they in very broad terms. It is a, look, if the route to stripping liberty from the the general public, the populace in a democracy. The route to that is through first just attacking women. It just is. It just historically it is, and it's the playbook of, and it's almost like an instinctual thing, right? Because you don't want women in the room. We'll catch you when you're up to your stuff. If you're a bad dude up to no good, and you don't want any restraints on it, and you don't want any checks and balances on it, I think men like that learn this when they're young men, and they know just keep the women out because they're gonna hold us to account, or we're gonna have to share. Oh no, share with them. We can't just take from them. We're gonna have to share with them, and so I feel like we are entering an era of misogyny that is acute and unique because we evolved. Society has progressed. I mean, as I've said last time, we're a quarter of the way into the 21st century, and this is the shit we're being forced to contend with and fight for, just basic rights. It's just this war on women, and it's almost like, for me, it feels like misogyny in this society has arced its way into a real pathological personality disorder. Like it's there. It's there with psychopathy. It's like because it's primal. I don't know that it can be for people who are just like the Sam Alitos of the world. There's no revelation that's going to happen there. I don't
Strip search Sammy.
Yeah. Like, and Martha, who enables him. It's like, this is, they're gone. They're in a disorder and have woven a different reality to support that disorder that speaks towards the annihilation of my rights and my daughter's rights, or like we're just literally an existential threat to those two people and people like them. So that's a disorder, and I would love for the APA to come out and call it as such. It would be very helpful maybe to start diagnosing this shit.
They want to scale back the sexual revolution. This is something that I found in the research. I forget who put this in this exact terms, but that's what they're opposed to. Leonard Leo, Alito, Clarence Thomas, all these people, they think the sexual revolution, i.e. women having, rights and saying and entering the workforce and all this stuff is bad, which is so dumb and ahistorical and just stupid. Like, the one of the reasons why the United States is as powerful as it is because we have done a better job of enabling and helping our women and creating equality in ways that other countries don't. Saudi Arabia just takes half their population and they're like, fuck you, go live under a sheet forever. We don't do that here, but that's what they want. That's what they want to bring. So, that's what's going to happen if Trump is elected. And that's just how it is. And I know it sounds like extreme and crazy and kooky, but I don't know. Like, how many more people does Trump have to rape before we realize that he likes rapists and he's like the rapist guy who's the head of the rape party? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. Announcements.
Too dark. Let's go to our announcements.
Yeah.
So you have a new book out.
I do.
We had this announcements last week. How's it going? Give us an update on the book and where people can find it. I know they can find it on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. It's available in paperback and in ebook. I've been going back and forth with Ingram Spark, and I hope that by after the holiday it will be available there, which means that bookstores can order it. And I recorded all of the audio book files, so I've read it out loud, and I'm just waiting for the post-production and to upload that. So that'll be also hopefully end of the month, if not sooner. It'll be available in all that formats. And again, thank you to everybody who bought it. Thank you to everybody for promoting it. If you feel like helping me, go write a review or give me some Amazon stars or something. That's always helpful. And again, #1 in fascism, man. #1.
#1 in
Beating out Jack Posobiec.
Thank God. I don't even want to say that name. It just makes me hurl. But here's the thing for your book that for me, I want to encourage everybody, buy this book. I'm tired, as everyone knows. You don't even see me. I was retweeting some stuff this week, but I'm just exhausted. I really am. And I know this was a valiant effort for you, because I know you are as well. And I think everybody that's been following us for a long time and was in there from 2016, 2017, just fighting, resisting. And it almost feels like this next election, here we are two more elections later. And it's just, if you're weary, if your brain is just sort of like, I can't remember all the things and how am I going to do something? What is my argument for talking to people, right, who are thinking they can just, Biden's too old, let's vote for this guy, or even RFK, or whatever their weirdness is. I find that for the exhausted resistor body, right, that this book is fantastic. What you have to do is take the book and you just go, here.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
I can't recite all of it for you again. You lived through it and somehow you're forgetting it, or you weren't tuned in. So it was a quick and easy read, just to remind you how bad it was.
It was bad.
And what we went through. So that's what for me, the value of your book is that I just hand it to somebody and go, because I can't find my words anymore. I'm having a hard time.
Thank you for saying that, because that's also that's the purpose, really. It's just like, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to talk. Just read the fucking thing. And if you can't read, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. And then we have another announcement, because there was some stuff that I was retweeting. So I know that the poster has been made and the announcement's out there.
All right.
Yeah. We're going to be live in New York.
We're going to be live. New York, Boston. We're like on a mini tour with Alice and Gil.
Mini tour.
On
Like
the Daily
as many
Beans
as the
thing.
mini gets, but 2 nights.
Yeah.
What are the dates again, Craig?
It's Father's Day weekend, so it's the Saturday and Sunday. I think it's the 15th and 16th, I want to say. Whatever the Saturday and Sunday are.
Yeah.
Saturday night, we're in New York City. I think there's still tickets available there. Sunday
City
night,
Winery.
Boston night. City Winery in both places. City Winery in New York, which is in Chelsea. City Winery in Boston, which is somewhere near where the Celtics
Boston.
play. And they have good wine there, by the way, good rosé. We're gonna partake of that. So I think the Boston one sold out, but if people are in Boston and they can't get in or whatever, maybe we'll go out after, or we'll have a after party, something.
Send an email to Greg, because that's how you contact us.
That's
Everybody emails him.
It's like the A team. You're like the A team. If you're going to talk to Mr. T, you have to come to George, John Hannibal Smith through the dry cleaner, and then we get the words out. So
it'll be great, and it's put on by Allison Gill, friend of our show, and Dahlia. I think it's Dahlia Lithwick is in.
Dahlia Lithwick's gonna be there in New York, not in Boston.
In New York. Okay, wonderful. So it'll be a good, fun time, everybody. I can't wait to see you. I hope you come. You'll see us in person.
It'll be good.
And then maybe we can figure out some more live events in the future. Okay, it's 9:30. Let's get going. This is
9:26. This is an easy. We don't need to spend much time with this.
Okay. Let's just laugh.
Let's just laugh. Okay, Trump went to the Bronx. Like, this is the Mussolini of Queens, who, as John Leguizamo pointed out, can't go back to Queens because everyone hates his fucking guts. Who's on trial in Manhattan, a borough that rejected him wholesale. And forget about Brooklyn. No sleep till Brooklyn because he doesn't rest. Staten Island, they still like him. But he goes to the Bronx for some reason. And it's like we're right back in January 2017. The crowd size was enormous.
Had the biggest crowd size. It was the biggest.
It's not enormous. There literally, I think, were more people watching this show tonight than were at Trump's event. I don't know if you know this. I lived in New York City for 10 years. And I was there when Garth Brooks played a free concert in Central Park. This was in 98, 99, something like that. And let me tell you, that the weekend of that show, there were people we saw that were clearly not from New York City that we never fucking saw again. Lots of them. coming just to see Garth Brooks, and God bless them. We were happy they were there. It was so cool. This was not that. There were people coming in from out of town.
Yeah,
there were
clearly.
not a lot of people.
Yeah,
not a lot of people. I mean, maybe 2 charter buses could fit them all. From like, dipshit parts of New Jersey, dipshit parts of Long Island, and Westchester.
Westchester showed up.
Yeah, and Westchester in the house. Woohoo! So and Trump, but I do have to say, as ridiculous as it was, there's a journalist who did a thread about it who was there, kind of in disguise. I can't remember her name. I apologize. Saying that he was actually good at the event, like he didn't seem senile and dipshitty as he usually is, probably because he was in New York and he was excited about talking about all of his great real estate successes in New York. And when he goes other places that are not New York, he will not be able to do that because he has had no real estate successes anywhere else other than arguably New York.
Okay, so this is what I couldn't stop thinking about. Do you remember the movie Soap Dish?
Oh my God, I saw that. I was like,
okay, and
12.
so Sally Field plays this. I think it was Soap Dish. She plays a soap actress that was like a big name, but also has a lot of fans. And she's sort of like the Susan Lucci, and it's like she has a hard time. And her manager or publicist or something is Whoopi Goldberg, and Whoopi's like, you know what we need to do, He's like, oh no, I can't. No, because she's like, Sally Field's crying. She's like, it's all right, we got to do it. And they
rally in the Bronx.
They go to the mall.
Oh, the mall.
And,
okay.
Yeah, and Whoopi Goldberg goes, "Oh my God, is that you?" And announces who it is. And then she gets all the fans, and she stops crying. She feels better. She's signing autographs. It's a vanity play, right? Of like, you just got to stroke your ego. And I think Trump said to his people, "Find me somewhere in the city, in the boroughs." Where again, then Manhattan was a no-go. It wasn't going to work.
No fucking way.
He had his Sally Field, Whoopi Goldberg moment where he had the soap dish moment. He needed to be in his brain said, I'm in New York City and people are showing up who love me because New York hates him so violently and he's on trial. And it's like, it just reminded me of that. So that was I feel like he had a Sally Field moment.
It's not even a good trial, by the way. This just occurred to me now. It's not even like the trial of the century. Like the OJ trial was a compelling trial. The Stanford White trial was a compelling trial. The murder of several, the Evelyn Nesbitt thing. This was not that. This is just,
this is really nothing. And it doesn't matter how many people show up in matching suits from Congress or wherever to be there. It's not turning into the trial essentially, no matter what he does. So
matching beards from suits.
Matching, yeah. So anyway, we can just laugh at him. I mean, it was just so
Bronx cheer.
Like he's just stuck in 1987, man. I think that's when that movie was, 87 or 88. He can't get out of the late 80s, this guy. He can't.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
Did you notice Will did a pretty good Trump, I thought.
He did a pretty good Trump.
I think he did a pretty good Trump. He's almost like he's an actor who can do impressions or something. So it's good. All right. So we're going to do it after hours. This was a fun show. I really enjoyed this one. Yeah. I laughed a lot. Like, we're making the list of things. I'm like, this is all really fucking depressing shit to talk about. But I still, laughed a lot, which is good. I hope everyone else did too.
Me too. And I hope everyone's going to have if you're not joining us, please have the most wonderful and safe holiday weekend. We'll see you once summer begins.
Summer doesn't begin till June 20th.
I know. I feel like it's Memorial Day is the beginning of summer.
Oh, the unofficial.
That's when the ice cream stands open up and all the boats are on the lake.
All right. So I'm going to wear white pants next week for the show. Not that you'll be
good. All right. We'll wear white.
So
that works for me.
Okay. So we're going to take like a little break, 5-10 minute break, whatever. And then we'll go on to the after hours. I don't know. I feel very pessimistic, LB. How do you feel about everything that's going on?
I feel like we're going to get through it.